Sorry for that interruption. So what I was saying is that we have multiple databases. We have multiple databases for a reason, for greater coverage of articles. We do not want to spend our money here at Mesa College duplicating information. That's why you see so many different databases covering different materials. So I would ask you, when you're doing your research for periodicals, to not just rely on one database. Don't just rely on JSTOR or EBSCOhost or any other single database, but actually cast your net pretty wide here in terms of saying, okay, let's look at Ethnic News Watch. Okay, that's great. Now let me get some newspapers. If it's a local issue, Union Tribune might be a good idea. If it's national, then we go US Newsstream or Newspaper Source Plus. Okay. But the idea is, though I want to do good, thorough research, I'm not going to be able to do it just simply with one database. Now I'm ready to Google. Why am I ready to Google now? Because I've learned a lot about my topic. Right? I've read up on it in general reference books. I've read up on it in books. I've read up on it in periodicals, including magazines, newspapers, and importantly, scholarly journals. And I hopefully have at this point read myself into an expert. What do I mean by that? I mean that when I do a search with Google, I'll be able to uncover what's good and what's not so good. So let's pop on into Google and just take a crack at it. You remember we started, of course, with a Google search, which gave us millions of results. And here we are with capital punishment instead of death penalty. I still have millions and millions and millions of results. And the first thing that comes up is absolutely evil. That is Wikipedia. Do not use Wikipedia. Do not use Wikipedia. Do not use Wikipedia. Okay, I said it 3 times. So we have the usual cast of characters here: death penalty, info.org, Britannica, the ACLU. What I'm probably more likely to want to do at this point is to dig down a little bit more deeply. That is to say, I probably understand my topic now a lot better. So maybe instead of capital punishment, what if I put something a little bit more interesting? Innocent people on death row. How did they know what I was thinking? Isn't that amazing? There's our wonderful Wikipedia. We're going to ignore them. Here we have the Innocence Project, right? Death Penalty Information Center, description of innocence cases. There are innocent people on death row, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Once I get onto something, I still have to ask questions of credibility. Something like the ACLU, probably pretty highly credible. Amnesty USA, pretty credible. You might not necessarily like what they do, but they're certainly well known and credible in terms of their research. They might have a bias, of course, and that's something we always want to be aware of, right? Let's take a peek no, that's too old. Witness2innocence.org. Let's just click on these people, see what we got. One of the things I think is very important, and there's everybody asking you for money, 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 money. Who we are, right? And now they talk about who they are, their history. The reason I want to click on things like this is that it will help me to understand the credibility. Okay. Now, one last thing on the triangle of research. The bottom point of the triangle, the very tip, are personal interviews. And one of the things I have found, actually, especially once you're working on an issue, is that it's not that hard sometimes to get personal interviews. Now, a personal interview does not have to be a face-to-face conversation, although it certainly can be. Could be a telephone conversation, could be an email exchange, right? And if you plan well, this is probably a bad idea because this will be my personal email, Nick. But you could click on something like this, and you could find an opportunity perhaps to exchange questions, or not exchange questions, to send questions, have them answer those questions. Sometimes that can be a fabulous, fabulous addition to your work. A lot of people say to themselves, well, I don't know anybody I can interview. Well, maybe off the top of your head, you don't know anybody you can interview, right? But what you can do is you can go to websites. Sometimes they have, particularly the bigger ones, have departments, customer relations departments, public relations departments, people that will talk to you either directly by phone or with an email exchange. One of the keys to that is to plan ahead. Usually you're not top of the priority list and you need to give them time. So don't wait till a paper is due the day or two ahead of time before you try to talk to somebody. Okay? So that is, for all intents and purposes, the end of our triangle of research. Thank you.